Hello, readers. Welcome to Book Launch Tuesday, the best thing to happen to Tuesday since tacos. Tonight, we are launching the final first book in the Misplaced Adventures expansion, All Hail the Kin, by Ethan A. Cooper. Once a year, Tyrak asks Layla to marry him. Once a year, she answers no. She has no choice. She and Tyrak are kin, and the kin have rules. Rules written by the gods themselves. Woohoo! Welcome. First, congratulations, Ethan.
Thank you very much. It's an awesome day. It's an awesome feeling to have this book out. I'm excited to be here with you all.
We are very happy. This has been, a year in the making, yes?
Something like that. I looked through my my messages, and you reached out to me in 2022. Was when the first, I think it was like May, around this time, actually, somewhere in here.
2 years
in the making. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's pretty impressive. Look at that, planning ahead, publishers. It's like maybe we have this calendar we have to stick with. Poor Jesse's confused because I read the beginning.
And it still felt rushed.
It still felt rushed, right? I know. It's like every 2 months. Wait, we decided on this, but we will have you know that we've done it, man. Every book in Misplaced Adventures, we've had one come out every 2 months the whole time, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, so. I can't believe how you all are releasing one every 2 months like that. It's quite a juggling act, I suspect, and quite a feat. And I don't know, like chasing cats and herding mice and spiders all at the same time. I don't know.
I'm glad you added spiders. It's definitely important. They're almost a mascot at this point of the company. And part of the reason is Greg D. Little, and the other part is Jessie Sprague. Welcome, Jessie. She is your dev editor for this book. You made it. You made it through all of the pain and horror. You survived, Jessie.
I feel like you're saying that his book was pain and horror.
Well, it was beautiful when you were done with it, but wait, hold on. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that in a minute. Ethan's like, wait a minute.
The first draft, there's some pain and horror in taking that first draft, which is a brave thing to do for any editor, I'm assuming, getting that and going, okay, there's something here. Probably.
There's something here. If not, it doesn't matter. It's every 2 months we're going to make it happen. But right. Please, you are very talented, Ethan. We knew we were going to be fine, and we were. And between you and Jessie, this thing is phenomenal. And Jessie, would you mind reading the back cover copy for us so we know what we are talking about today?
I can, but do you want me to read the whole thing, including the
You can start it as a priestess. It's okay.
Okay. As a priestess, Layla has dedicated her entire life to the reclusive kin and the forgotten gods they worship, even if it means enforcing their brutal dictates. Even if it means she can't be with the man she loves. Despite his fractured faith in the gods, there's little Tyrak won't do for Layla. But after years of compliance for Layla's sake, Tyrak finds himself unable to turn a blind eye to her violent deeds. As their relationship crumbles, the two are selected to undertake a quest few have taken, and even fewer have survived. They must leave the safety of their home and travel across the treacherous expanse of Andos in search of a hidden underground city in a far-off realm. Along with an elegant warrior priestess, a temple librarian, a newly converted outsider, and two bratty teenagers, Layla and Tyrak find themselves far from home and pursued across unfamiliar land by ex-kin intent on subverting their mission at any cost. The journey will test Layla and Tyrak like never before, forcing them to confront the countless dangers of the outside world, the truth of the kin, and the devastating reality of how far they are willing to go for what they believe and for each other.
I'm telling you, these gods are not nice. Like the gods in the entire world that, Kevin Petway created are not nice. These are not, loving, forgiving kinds of gods. But I will say these twins might be the worst I've ever seen. So I'm wondering why you decided, Ethan, to have all of these blood ceremonies involving the twin gods.
Well, when was trying to come up with a story after you came to me and invited me to write in this world, it took me a little bit to search for that. One of the things I wanted to explore was truth, and then something that we struggle with in our lives. What is truth? What are people telling us? Is it true? And stuff like that. And then I really talked with Kevin about the gods and how they work, because I was very interested in them, and I found that I probably closely related to tales of Greek gods. They're ultimately very human,
more human
in their right. I mean, written by humans, and so that's the closest thing I come to the gods of this world. And at that point, I was really not fully understanding them, but I thought about and I've read some and tried to understand the way Kevin set up these gods in the world. And for the most part, it seems like they're very reclusive. They're pulled away from their humanity. So I was like, well, what if these gods, have set down instructions for their followers, and what if their followers are really true and they really believe what these gods have told them, regardless of whether it's true or not? They believe it. And let's just imagine that if your God says it and you believe in your God, then you should follow that, right? So I wanted to explore that sort of dedication, because if it is truth, then it is worth following. Now, the question is, what is the truth in this case? So, and that's a question that is explored and will continue to be explored, but really comes into that faith aspect in your God. So when it comes to your gods telling you to do something, you do it because they're gods. It may be cruel, but you still do it because they told you to. Now, if this, for example, involves blood, and as some of these rituals that the kin do, I don't want to give away too much, but like some of these rituals require, let's say, they require, I don't want to say like human sacrifice, but they require a sacrifice from you. There is a price to pay. Okay, you don't just enter into some of these ceremonies willy-nilly. It's not just a list of words or incantations you say. There is a price to pay, and there's a ritual to it all. And so the question probably is still like, what part of that is true? Ultimately, I wanted to sort of delve into a little bit of the darker elements that might manifest there, especially for a civilization that has existed for quite a long time, without the they've existed without the context of their gods. So their gods set down these rules. They haven't had any further context, so they are just following the rules that they know. So they can't go ask their god to clarify, hey, what did you mean by this? So anyway, I wanted that. I sort of wanted the rituals to be a little on the disgusting side, to prove that, the kin are really dedicated to their gods, and to the instructions, and there can be consequences for not following all of that. So
yeah, Kevin Petway says it's about time someone got to the dark aspects of this world. Oh, come on. You hit the dark aspects too. A lot of you do. Actually, I think everyone has. But I will say, Jesse, you were the dev editor for both this one, All Hail the Kin, and Jess Rainey's A Seed Once Sown. And I think it's funny that you just coincidentally get the ones that definitely had more of a horror kind of feel to them. Do you think they had the horror feel when they first got to you, or did you just like, kind of, massage it a little bit?
I don't think you can give me credit for that. I think it was all them. I'm not saying I didn't help push them further in that direction on occasion, but no matter what he says, I didn't tell him to kill horses.
We will not spoil whether any horses were hurt in this story. Let's just say that. I do know that some authors in the Misplaced Adventures universe are known for causing damage to their readers for things that they choose to do in their story, and I will leave it at that. But again, I did want to say
that's still probably all of them.
I did want to say a lot of Jesse's suggestions were not in the horror realm, not to amp up the horror. They were actually to amp up the humanity of it all, which probably in the end serves the darker elements, because that humanity is very important for when you're doing bad things, it goes against your humanity. And that's a big part of this. So like a lot of what she suggested, and I tried to implement everything because I thought they were, I'm like, she knows what she's talking about. And, I think they just served that and really amped it up. So if you feel something, it's partly what I wrote, but a lot of what Jesse suggested to say, hey, you need to lean in this, you need to justify this better and stuff like that. So
I just think it's an awesome coincidence.
It was all there. I think that's important. Everything that's in that book is yours.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why you're so good at what you do. So I love it. I just think it's funny. So we shall see about the coincidences in these two books. By the way, they're totally different. Like, to me, the biggest thing that makes this one different than all the rest of them is actually the love story. You have the strongest, most heartbreaking yet stunningly beautiful love story I've seen in a really long time. So because you have Layla and Tyrek, and they are dedicated to each other. I don't know any other way to put it than that, because they have completely and totally different beliefs, like you were talking about Faith earlier. Completely total, but that doesn't matter. They still love each other, but they love each other so deeply that their religion says they cannot be together. And Layla truly believes in that. And so Tyrek respects it. But he does let her know at any moment, and she feels it. This is not unrequited. It's something more complicated than that. So I'm wondering, where did you go to in order to find this kind of beautiful love story? I freaking love these two.
Well, I got to give, I don't know. I mean, I like love stories. I mean, despite all my, I love horror and stuff but I like a good love story. I mean, you could, there's not many, in my opinion, in popular, like, let's say movies, there's not a lot of love stories these days. Like, I like romantic comedies. I like watching them with my wife. I don't feel they make too many good romantic comedies. Like true romance where you're rooting for the end. You know how it's going to end up, right? All that.
But you want them to get together. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it can be very sweet, and it doesn't have to be like, how can I tell the crudest joke? Because there's a place for that sorts of things, those sorts of movies. But like, I also like, just sweet movies like, While You Were Sleeping, or Return to Me. I like those stories. So, and I've never written anything like this before. So I felt ultimately this story hinges on those two. And so, I had to do that. And I knew I didn't want it to be so easy for them. You have to earn that. And, regardless of how this first book ends up, I've got more coming, and their story isn't done. I wanted to feel like a journey. I wanted to give you things along the way, because I don't like, I want to have like, I'm headed towards a good place, hope, but it's not going to be an easy road there. And I don't think it was an easy road in this first book.
No, there was nothing easy about the road in this book. No.
Yeah, and actually, like, Jesse I don't think you've even read the most current version, because you gave me my second round of things, and then I had like 2 more edits, and ultimately I think it just got pushed further every time, pushing Layla and Tyrek to really get at what would they be feeling at any given point, and how helpless should they feel, and even though that dedication is there, like, Tyrek, you could argue that he's almost archetype, he's not realistic in the fact that he's just so dedicated to her. Why doesn't he leave? Right? Why doesn't he leave? Even though that's a dangerous thing, you don't leave the kin. But he's the one person who like sort of believed he could get away with it. But
I would believe it too. If anyone could, it would be him. Yeah.
And yet he doesn't. But it's almost like torture. What is torture to him? Because he's there. He's got her so close, and yet they cannot be together. So I don't know. I wanted to tell a love story. I give some credit to my wife for saying, hey, you need to put romance into this, and make sure it's a key part of it.
It is, for sure. Yeah.
Ultimately, I think I read a lot of Stephen King, and not to say he's a romance, but he's focused on the characters. So like, if I've done anything, I've tried to be better at the characters as much as I can, and not just be like, okay, I'm gonna make this surprise twist in this part of the story just because it's there. No, I think, it's got to serve that character. I got to earn it. And I know a lot of what Jesse helped me with was telling people. Sometimes I was being too vague about what this person was feeling at this point in time. And sometimes you need to tell the reader a little bit more. Just don't have them experience. You're going to have to lean into it. So I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate it too, because I got it in the final version. It was gorgeous. So nicely done.
I think that's funny. Go ahead. I was going to say, with this particular romance, what was so important about it, it was different than the ones you normally read because they enter the story in love. You're not watching people fall in lust, which a lot of the stories are people falling in lust.
Correct. You have no idea where they're going to end for real.
Two people who are in love deal with real issues, and you believe while they're separate. So their reasons really matter.
Right.
That's all I was going to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. That was actually a challenge. You're like, okay, how do I convince the reader that they're in love already? I can tell them, hey, you've been friends for 30 years. But they have to sort of prove it, especially when, like, almost right off the bat, I have to put them against each other, stuff like that. They're going to be against each other even though they're in love. So that was definitely one of the challenges because I've written other stories, but nothing quite so intricate as this, I guess. So Cursed Dragonship pushed me hard, which is
You're
good.
Welcome.
That's right. Thank you.
Well, Florida Kevin says you definitely earned your plot, Ethan. So nicely done. He does want to know, though, is there any romantic aspect that mirrors you and your wife's relationship?
No, not at all.
No, we're healthy.
We're in the same cult, and we're both No, no. I mean, I won't say that, like, being, this is our 25th. Actually, it'll be 25 years in August. So, like, anybody that's been married, anybody that's been married understands that, like, and it's important to your life, and it's your life partner, and you're not. So that part is that true love aspect, and that true love is not easy, right? It is work, and it is fulfilling, and can be very fulfilling. Yep. And you have this partner in life that you can do all these things with. You can have kids, and you can experience the ups and downs. And I want that to be part of this. This is, nothing so dramatic, of course. We met in school, in college, and I never left Texas, so we got married. So it wasn't as angsty and all that stuff like this story is. So. But I don't think you can be a writer and not sort of, and you're being married and sort of inject those things in, at least the things that you really, really like, so.
Yeah, but at least you two can actually share your relationship, right? So
that's right. That's right.
They can't. Tyrek and Layla can't. So, and it's just not fair. But it's okay. We have 2 more books to go. We shall see where this relationship goes. Right. So, this is Misplaced Adventures. There's no guaranteed happy ending. So we shall see. So no, but yes, Florida Kevin says. Yes, exactly. No, but yes, but no. Yes. I mean, let's face it, we all put ourselves a bit in our writing. We can't help it. So they say, write what you know. And I'm like, but that is what you're writing. That's what you're always writing. Right. It just, sometimes it feels real and sometimes it doesn't. So when it feels really real, you know that they're digging deep. So let's see. All hail the kin. We do a thing around here where if people like you, they will also like what you write. So I'm wondering, Ethan, what are you watching right now?
Well, I don't do a lot other than family and write these books at the moment. But my wife and I do like to partake in whatever. So the most recent thing we watched was Shogun. On Hulu.
How was that? I'm scared to watch it because that book gave me nightmares.
I liked it. We both really, really enjoyed it. It is a very, very beautiful series. As far as I can tell, it's very visually accurate and behavioral wise to the time. It is amazing. There's lots of, believe it or not, there's actually not a lot of blood in it. You would think this might be a great game. It's a lot of political and honor and I don't know. I just found I found the culture fascinating. At that time, it's 1600 feudal Japan, and I don't know. It's a beautiful series. A couple other series we watched are we watched Joe Pickett. I think that's on like Paramount. It's a CJ Box's mystery series about this game warden, and you would not believe how dangerous a game warden can be. Apparently, it is extremely dangerous. Anyway, we can recommend that. So those are the two things I've watched recently.
I love it.
Outside of we watch Mystery Science Theater with the kids whenever we can. So at least I do.
Your wife is like, I'm out.
Well, I mean, she'll humor us, which is fine. It's, I understand that sort of, once in a while they get a good joke that can make her laugh, but it's not her thing. So that's absolutely fine. She is very, very nice for putting up with the rest of us. So.
I love it. I love it. That's, aren't we all, right, Jesse? Aren't we all putting up with the hobbies of our husbands? Yeah.
Incest.
Yes, that's right.
You can use the kids as an excuse, right? Hey, I'm doing this with the kids, right? So.
That's why you have to get your kids to like what you like. So now it's quality time.
That's right. Yeah.
It's clever parenting. That's what that
exactly.
is. Yeah.
They're on to us.
I love it. So I will say in this book, I love the aspect of the romance. We talked about that. It is definitely like hardcore into the ceremonies, but I believe you also mentioned that you had to cut some of the ceremonies because there was just too many. Is that true?
I think definitely in the first draft, I think, I'm trying to remember. There's a lot of ceremony, and Jesse did point that out that it was getting to be a bit much. So I'm trying to remember if I at the very least I cut them down, so that they weren't so involved. That's one of the things in that first thing you're like, I don't know the pacing, and Jesse helped me get at a lot of the pacing, especially in that first draft to say. I cut out 2 chapters that are still sitting there waiting to be re-released in some other fashion, just because like it didn't go in that part. It was a cool interaction with actually one of the other authors and their characters. But maybe there's a place for that somewhere. It's still referenced, but sometimes you just got to cut it out. There are definitely going to be more rituals. I think I was really getting at like ritual is very important to them, and they literally have a ritual for like almost anything.
It's hard to rebel against your gods if you're always busy doing a ritual. It's actually a very clever way to build a society to keep control of them,
Right. Absolutely. And, one of their most important rituals is their atonement ritual, which is basically like, if you do something that violates the rules, you can basically wipe the slate clean with your atonement ceremony, which is, good. I think they sort of, right. It's, atonement's an important concept, I think, very important here, but also in real life. I mean, it's pretty natural to us to like, say we offend somebody and say we would like to, apologize and make it better. So I think that's an important thing that most people should understand, these people, those that are normally adjusted and actually want to, go through life making friends and, being kind as you'd like other people to be kind to you. So, I don't know. I wanted that small ritual that was just like every day or, every other day, whatever you said, you got to go through this. And, they unfortunately have to wound themselves to atone. But, that's the cost. When you do a bad thing, there's a cost, which is really what I was getting at.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. And it's a real cost. It's a real physical, not you're going to feel bad about it, something real. Let's see. Let's go to the park. Said cuts were part of the ceremony and the editing process in this case. Yes, part of the ceremony and the editing process. I mean, that's what editing is, right? We have to cut things sometimes.
Well, there is sort of a ritual to it, right? You have a very set sequence of edits that generally produce towards the goal you want. So it makes sense. Luckily, your editing process doesn't require as many shivings, so you're probably okay.
Oh well, when we see you in Dallas, didn't we tell you? Which reminds me, you are going to be with us at Dallas, at the Fan Expo Dallas, the first full weekend in June. So it's the June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Have you done like a convention like this before?
I have not done a convention that big before. I have been to the San Diego Comic-Con, so I know what a big convention looks like. And I did volunteer. So I've been on that. I haven't been on that side of the table, just at smaller things. So it'll be interesting. You know, back when I did it, which is, this is, you know, things like saying things like that make you sound old, but, you know.
Well, we're not exactly young. It's okay.
Cosplay, you know, dressing up wasn't even a thing. Like I went to the convention because I like comic books and it was all about comic books. And now it's, you know, it's something completely different and expanded, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. I have never been to Dallas Fan Expo, so.
It'll be fun. Yeah. We can't wait. So anyone who's around that area, come out, see Ethan or a whole bunch of our other authors, and he'll sign books for you. Like whether you like it or not, we're signing books. That's the rule. We're gonna.
I will draw you a picture in that book too.
What?
Actually,
I want one now.
I just customized my signature a little bit for each story.
What picture? What picture are you going to draw?
Well, it's I don't know. I haven't quite worked it out, but you know, I have all the little symbols of the kin, so I attach that to the end of my signature or something like that. But for you all, I can draw something else, something special.
So exciting. Now we're all excited. We're like, well, I want to draw. That's all.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah, Jen Bear says that.
If you put me on the spot, I won't be able to think of a single thing.
Well, that's how it works. Ask poor Jesse. I do it to her all the time.
If you see me at the convention, I have bookmarks I can give you as well. Hopefully, they're supposed to get here before it starts, so.
They will. I'm sure they will. I have faith.
They're going to look awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm very excited. Well, we've talked a lot about Tyrek and a lot about Layla. They are the POV characters. It makes sense. But you have an entire cast, right? They're going on a journey across the world, and they all, you know, they've been in this secluded cult in the middle of a forest forever. So they're seeing a whole bunch of this world they've never seen before, and they are the only ones who you know where they came from. That kind of builds a closeness just naturally, right? Even if you wouldn't like each other in any other circumstance. So out of all of these other characters, which one did you have the most fun writing?
Oh boy. Well, I'm probably, I don't want to give away too much, but probably the twins, because all I did.
You like the bratty twins?
Well, I'm just saying, when you go into a situation, you're like, whenever I was thinking of the dialogue, I'm like, well, what's the rudest thing I can say? Like, what is the sarcastic side of me going to say? The completely insulting, because if you know me, you know that's not how I talk. Yeah, and these are the things that run through your head. Well, the twins just say it. You know, they're going to say the absolute most horrible thing, and they, you know, they're the mean bullies of the school, basically.
For sure. And they get everything they want, you know, at the beginning when they're chosen. It's just not fair. Jen Bear says that she wants more of Uhu.
You will get more of Uhu. That is 100% for sure.
I love it. And Jesse, did you have another character that was a favorite of yours?
I really liked Ember.
Me too. Loved Ember.
I really liked Ember.
Yeah.
The Ember who doesn't ever get dirty.
Yes, it's so cool. All the battles spotless.
The thing is, if she had been perfect in other ways, that might have been annoying. But she wasn't, so I enjoyed it.
I loved it. It was a nice little quirk. I mean, she was a princess, and she was living up to it. So,
Slash some throats, but you don't get a drop of blood on you because you're a princess and you can't.
That's right.
I love it. And it wasn't magic. It was just her. She was that good.
Well, that's right. And that's actually one of the things in my book is there is no magic. And Kevin is actually the one, because my original pitch had a lot of magic in it. And he was like, well, why don't you just make it so there's no magic? And I was like, and it turns out that solved so many problems. It's like, there's no magic.
Well, magic is rare in his world.
Yeah. Well, that's what I didn't understand at first. I was like, oh, okay, there's magic. Of course, it's like every other. No, it's pretty rare. So, okay, let's take it away. That made the story so much better because I didn't have magic to fall back on. Now, you could claim what Layla does with her potions is sort of magical. But it is not. It is, and she's, I don't know. That's what I like.
It's a creative tool to make the story go along. Look, the potions are cool. It makes it really unique. And some of the witches do potions too, right? So that's kind of cool. You and Jen should probably get together and have some kind of potions that you both make. It would be funny.
She messaged me just a couple of days ago. Things are in the works. So Jen will, you'll see things in Jen's book soon.
Good. I'm just about to proofread that one. I'm excited. Yeah, Jen says it's coming down the pipeline. I love that. I love that y'all like conspire. Oh, I mean, work together creatively to make the world awesome. So it's what we were hoping would happen. By we, I mean like Kevin and I, right? That you guys would work together and connect things and bring characters from other stories and all that. And y'all are doing a fabulous job. So it's really, really exciting. So it's like someone can pick up your book, just read your book and not know anything else and love and enjoy the story. However, if they've read other things, right? If they've read other books, then they know more. It's one of those where you see the cookies, right? So, if they just pick up Jen's book and they read nothing else, they won't be confused. They won't know what's going on. They'll be just fine. But if you did read the other stuff, then you kind of get it. And I love that. It's like magic. So besides us, it's like Northern Lights knows all the secrets. That's, our fantastic horn here.
Yeah, it's been amazing to try to work that out, especially with such, a diverse set of authors. My characters visit a city that you'll see in William Galaney's book. And, they visit parts of the forest where, C.M. McGuire's book. So there are definite things in there, and there's more coming down the way. That was one of the things, because I knew I wanted to do a cross-country journey. I wanted them to go from point A to point B, and that let me give a tour of the world. I think all the other books are, and I don't know everything where they memorized everything, but they were picking here and here, and this sort of let me take a tour of the world and get a little more of that in the second one, actually, I think so.
Yep, made it so cool. Yeah, Northern Light says that she loves how there are a lot of parallels. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. It's what makes it fun. I love it. And Jesse, you are a writer too. So I grabbed you on and said, please, can you edit for me, right? Have you learned anything through editing that has affected your own writing?
That's a complicated question because I was doing editing before I came with you. I've done ghostwriting. I've done a lot of things. I think most of the stuff that I would have learned through editing, I learned through ghostwriting. This ability to see, it's not about my story. It's not about what I want. And I think that's the biggest thing that if I had entered straight here, that's what I would have been learning.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and that's extremely, extremely valuable to me as a writer, which I was so appreciative of. Is you're like, every suggestion was like, this, is making the story better that you're trying to tell. So.
Yeah, we're pretty strict about our editors. We want to make sure they don't try to change your voice, right? We want your voice. So even though I made fun of Jessie because she had the two horrors, but let's face it, I knew that's what she liked, so I gave them to her. I was like, will you take these two? I think they're perfect. And it just worked. So I love that. So let's see, Ethan, we talked about the things that you've been watching lately. Very, very eclectic, by the way. I love that, which is kind of Misplaced Adventures anyways. What are you listening to right now? And that could be podcast, music, whatever.
So listening to, let's see. Well, tonight, for example, I listened to a lot of pop tunes because I was at my daughter's twirling recital. So if you need to know anything about Avril Lavigne or Britney Spears, I know all the songs. Anyway, so that's one thing I listen to, which that's fun.
Wait a minute. I'm recalling things now. I forgot that your daughter twirled because I remember once you said while you were waiting for her to go up and in the stands, you were writing scenes. I'm starting to understand all the blood rituals now.
Well, I mean, I think at that time they were playing the Stars and Stripes Forever on repeat because it was like a strut competition and they all have to strut to the same song. And that was my first day. Like, I didn't know what a strut competition was until then. And
You're like, I used to like this song.
After the first 20 times, so anyway.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I just killed off a few horses and I was good.
And you were good. I feel better now. Horses are not safe with Misplaced Adventures.
Yeah. It's going to be that weird thing with the Stars and Stripes. I'm like, I feel like a horse needs to die. No. No horses were harmed. No, I guarantee you, I promise you, if you read this, there's no horse death. So I don't know who put that in your mind.
I have no idea what's happening. We're going to start putting trigger warnings on these things.
I feel like this is Jessica's fault.
Yes, I mean,
I
she
think
started
that's fair.
it. Yeah, she started it. Mm-hmm.
But other things I'm listening to, I mean, like while I'm writing, I listen to very heavy stuff, Fear Factory. So, but I also, for some reason during this book, I had to concentrate more, I guess, and I had to listen to soundtracks. So things like Saw, just something a little relaxing. No, anyway, I love Charlie Coster, who's the composer for the Saw movies, and anyway, it's very interesting stuff. It's good stuff. But another thing I listened to.
Your idea of relaxing, my idea of relaxing, not the same definition.
I'm here for it.
Jess is like, I'm in.
Yeah, he's awesome. But also, like, I've been listening to some. When I grew up, I have this in my bio. I listened to the radio with my dad, and they were playing those old dramas like X-1, and I listened to the original radio broadcast of War of the Worlds, and those things are so, like, it's amazing what pictures they can put in your mind with so few words. But so I do try to look through Spotify and their podcasts and see, like, they have dramas. So the ones I've been listening to recently are there's one called Tower 4, which is about this guy who's in this fire watch tower out in the middle of nowhere and starts hearing things like that. There's another one called The End of All Hope, which is about the apocalypse, maybe some sort of asteroids or meteors start hitting the Earth, things like that. So I think the one I enjoyed the most, I believe it's a zombie one. It's called We're Alive. It's quite a few seasons. It's very, very well done. It has music, good voice acting throughout. So this is the sorts of things.
Excellent. So we have watching, we have listening. Lights Out too. Apparently, is that another one?
Lights Out, yeah. Lights Out. My brother probably, that's my brother pointed out. That is a truly, like, a horror anthology old time radio drama. I think it might even be on Spotify. So some of these I've found on there, and they're pretty awesome. As a matter of fact, there's, thinking of Jesse and the rest of the Cursed Dragon Ship crew, there is one about a spider, and it's pretty creepy. It's out in the jungle. I'll see if I can find it. I'll link it in the Discord, and I'll link it in the comments so everybody can see it.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you are not on our Discord, please join. Just curseddragonship.com/Discord. Just come right on in. We'd love to have you. You can come talk to us. Let us know how horrified you are by the dead horses. It's fine. We're here.
What dead horses? What are you talking about?
What I don't know. I mean, I didn't bring it up. Excellent. So we did watching, listening to, and reading. What are you reading?
My goodness. Well, I'm not reading much, but what I am reading, I'm honestly reading all the rest of the Misplaced Adventures because I feel like I'm behind in my homework.
Like, what have I missed? I gotta catch up.
Yeah,
there's a lot of books now. My gosh.
That's the problem. Is you guys are making them faster than I can read them. So I'm
that's
really
the plan.
Sort of
We're
upset at you all.
Readers, man.
Yeah. So that's about all I'm reading. I'd probably be further along if I stopped scrolling Twitter. So, my own fault.
Twitter, it's TikTok that eats me. I have to set a timer or I can't get off TikTok. I cannot tell you how many of those messages where they're like, you need a break. I'm like, oh man, I do need a break. Why am I still on TikTok? It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Excellent. I see my brother linked the spider episode, so you guys can all enjoy the thing. I think I'm trying to remember how old we were when we first listened to that, but like I was just absolutely creeped out at that time. I don't know if it holds up throughout this time, but it probably does.
I don't know, but I think Jesse's like, I know what I'm doing today.
I mean, I like spiders. I don't know if you know that about me. But I enjoy spiders, except when they're in my bathtub, and then I don't like them at all.
Yeah, you know why I don't like them in my bathtub? Because I have to take my glasses off to shower and I can't see anything, so I have no idea what's in there.
Well, my son wants me to leave them there so that they can catch flies. He's like, they need to eat too. So we just have a colony of spiders living in the bathtub until they die. So it's not like they leave.
I'm just thinking, why do you have so many flies in your bathroom? That's what I'm asking.
We don't. That's why they die.
Like when they're on my windows and stuff, I love them, right? Because they come in and out, but they're right here, right? Yeah. They kill them. But in your bathtub?
Well, our shower and our bathtub are separate, so it's not like I'm...
No, we try to relocate them outside, actually, because I don't particularly like killing insects, especially spiders that are very beneficial anyway. But if they're in the bathtub, they might just get, they might get to take a little water ride.
For me, it would be the cats. If they're in the bathtub, they're now a cat toy. So the smart spiders stay out of the bathtub. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. My cat will sit in the bathtub and meow like I can magically produce a spider for him to play with. Like I do not control the spiders. Talk to Jesse.
That's your failure.
That's right. It is. It is. That is totally my failure. I love it. Flush the cats. That's right, Florida Kevin. We'll just flush the cats instead.
Florida Kevin's a dog person, I think.
That's true.
Well, I know he's a dog person.
Yeah. I'm a dog and a cat person. And a horse person. Anyways. But no. So first, I want to say again, or last, I want to say again, Ethan, congratulations. Thank you. I am very glad this is one of those last but not least kind of things. And obviously it's a series, and this is, you have 3 books planned, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so we've got the 3 books planned for this one. So we can see what happens with Layla and Tyrek, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of pain in the second book. So I'm going to prep for it.
Well, you can't amp it down for the second book.
Right? That's why I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
But you have to go through the 2 towers before you get to Return of the King. So, I don't know. You can't leave them in, I don't know. I'm a little scared about book 2 as well, honestly. And I have to write it. I am
also scared.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Honestly, that everyone... Excellent. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Zappo is putting the link up there so you can get it. You can also go to curseddragonship.com/allhailthekin. And that will take you right to the book. So you can make sure to get your copy. You can also order the paperback book anywhere books are sold. So if you want to go support your indie bookstore, you can go get it from them too. So you can get that anywhere your books are. Or if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read the ebook on there. And so make sure to go get your copy. And then Ethan, now that people are big fans of yours, where can they find you and your work?
Well, you can find me at ethanacooper.com. There I have links to things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, which are the 3 social media I'm currently doing. I also do have a mailing list on there that I've started. If you sign up, you will not get anything from me immediately. But don't worry. I will have you on the list, and I do have plans to start emailing information out about what I'm currently working on. And
you have those extra chapters.
I have those extra chapters that I need to get out there. Also, there's one chapter in there that I've had multiple people say you need to write out the tease that you did. There wasn't time in the story to do it there, but people are very disappointed that I didn't flesh out part of a very big encounter that probably happens. So anyway, I don't know when I'll have time to write that, considering I have to work on book 2. But yeah, ethanacooper.com.
Excellent. And Jesse, you also an author who has some amazing books out there. If people are looking for you, where can they find you?
JessieSpragg.com is probably the easiest place, and it does automatically link to my mailing list. Right now, we give away the first book in all 3 of my main series. So
nice. 3 books, always fun. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any last words to leave the audience with? Either of you?
I tried to make, and I think when I say all of us tried to make this book as exciting and as impactful as possible, and really keeping it high stakes and emotional the whole time. So I think you have a good time. And if you like this one, you're going to like more. And I just want to say thank you to Jesse and Kelly and Kevin and all. I mean, I sincerely appreciate this opportunity, and I thank you so much for all the work you put into this story as well. So.
Excellent, excellent. We are happy and lucky to have you both, actually. So excellent, excellent. And we will see you soon. Our next book is actually, we get to start the round of book 2s. And Jen Bears is coming up.
Yes.
And as soon as we get that cover ready, we will announce that out and get that next one. Jen, help me. What's the title of your book?
It's Ruthless.
Thank you, Ethan. Ruthless Alchemy. That's it. So that is book 2 in Jen's book, and that's the next one coming up. So awesome, awesome. So get this book now, read it, because we're going to keep slinging them at you because they're that good. All right, and we'll see you next time.